All right, hello again. Out of respect for everybody's time, I'm going to ask you to please continue enjoying your lunch while we continue the program. When I was out in the hallway a minute ago, somebody came up to me and said, "Is this the CDC meeting?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "Where do I get my flu shot?" I said, "No, that's a different CDC." There are so many of these acronyms on Long Island. CDCLI, it doesn't really roll off the tongue, Marianne. And Community Development Corporation of Long Island, there's 16 syllables in that. So I don't know why I'm thinking about nicknames today, but Marianne, let me offer, I'm thinking, what is it, the year after next, unfortunately, the Islanders are leaving. So how about we call this organization Long Island's home team?
Oh,
what do you think?
Good. Sounds good to me.
Okay, file that away. And we have a couple of great honorees today. And speaking of acronyms, I want to talk about Libby. And when you hear me say Libby, it's not canned peas. It's LIBI, Long Island Builders Institute. And let me tell you why Libby is our first recipient of the annual Opportunity Award. And while I tell you this, let me ask my good friend Mitch Pally to join me up here. When CDCLI was awarded the STEP, S-T-E-P, STEP program from Suffolk County after the storm, the contractors who were members of Libby rallied to the cause. CDCLI received notification of this award the day before Thanksgiving, and that Friday and throughout that holiday weekend, the members of Libby hit the streets to begin assessing homes and making repairs necessary to get these people back into their homes safely. CDCLI worked with Suffolk County on this STEP program from November of last year right through March of this year. This was a pilot program that required great flexibility on the part of the contractors, and Libby and its members rose to the task, and we're very grateful for the time and effort that they contributed to this program. So today it's our privilege to acknowledge the Long Island Builders Institute and to accept the Opportunity Award on behalf of Libby is their CEO and a great Long Islander, Mitch Pally. Mitch?
Thank you. Libby is honored to be here today with all of you to celebrate Long Island's recovery. I wanted to make just a couple of points. First, I want to thank, on behalf of Libby and all of us, CDC, for all the tremendous work that you do. It's fantastic being a partner with you on a number of occasions, being able to support your projects like Quorum the other day at the county legislature. It makes for a great partnership. I also want to take the moment to thank two members of Libby who were tremendously influential and basically took everything under their wing to make sure that the Libby contractors were out there, that they were doing the job, that they were going from house to house, and they're both here with me today. Artie Cipoletti and Tom Daytree, thank you both very much for all of your assistance. I also want to say that I am glad, hopefully finally, that mold is no longer the most famous four-letter word on Long Island. For a while, that's all we talked about was mold and how to get it out of the house to make the houses available for people to go back into. We ran seminars which were tremendously successful and informed all of our contractors about what mold was, the cause of it, and how to eradicate it from the homes, and that was a tremendous ability to perform that. Finally, I can't talk about home as tremendously as Bill Johnson did before or Marianne did, but if nothing else, Sandy, I think, made people realize, especially on Long Island, how much their home means to them and their community, and I am honored to be associated with a group of contractors who build the American dream every day. It is a tremendous accomplishment, a tremendous achievement, and on behalf of all the members of Libby, we're honored to be here today, and thank you again for this tremendous award. Thank you very much.
There are just a handful of companies here on Long Island that we know we can always count on to step up and help people in need. Unfortunately, it's just a handful, but it's a very precious few. And TD Bank is certainly one of those. And they're right here in front. You folks should be very proud of the company you work for. And whenever I see a company that has a sincere commitment to community service, invariably there's a great leader at the helm who makes that a personal commitment. And that's why it filters down throughout the organization. And you're smiling and nodding because you know what I'm talking about. This is not in the program, but I just want to do a shout out to one of my personal heroes, Ed Traviante, who sets the gold standard for community service here on Long Island. And TD Bank is our second Opportunity Award recipient, so let me ask another Ed Blasky, to join me while I tell you why TD Bank is getting this award. So again, last year, in the days preceding the storm, CDCLI was informed that TD Bank was giving CDCLI their Housing for Everyone grant. And then the storm hit Long Island, changed everyone's priorities. CDCLI went back to the leadership at TD Bank and said, can we be flexible with this because we have an immediate need for this grant to help people who were hurt by the storm. So true to form, the leadership at TD Bank quickly responded, and this was the catalyst behind the Sandy Housing Recovery Program. This is the program that provides case management services to families as they rebuild their homes and recover from the storm. So it's with great pleasure that we acknowledge TD Bank's generosity, and accepting their award is TD Bank's Market President for Suburban New York, Ed Blasky.
Thank you very much, Paul. On behalf of TD Bank and all my colleagues in attendance today, I'm pleased to accept this award. Paul makes reference to that day that I received a call from Mary Ann, probably first or second week of December last year, and she had asked if we could take some of the money that we had put towards grants for some other great projects and redeploy them for the Home Matters project. So quickly on our side, we were happy to accommodate, went through a little bit of a process to get it done within a week or so, but from a perspective of CDCLI, to be able to redeploy resources and to change gears, not that the other projects weren't important, but Mary Ann and her team understood what Long Islanders needed at that point. So it really is a testament to her leadership and what was accomplished in a very short period of time. And a lot of it was evidenced in the video you saw earlier. I think a little later in the program, you're going to hear from some of the recipients. And the recipients today are two stories that really resonate. But when you go beyond that, there was a wider reach than what you're going to see today. So just a tremendous job. We've had a tremendous partnership with the CDCLI probably for 12 years now, and we really value that partnership. We at TD are very committed to the communities we serve. We continue to give back to those communities. We will continue to support this organization in the future. I thank all of you for supporting the organization because your dollars, your commitment, and your passion to make Long Island a great place to live really, really makes a difference. I'd like to acknowledge my fellow honoree and congratulate him for his commitment to Long Island. And I look forward to many years of partnering with the CDCLI, and I thank you all for being here today.
So throughout this program, if you've glanced at the screens, earlier today and in between the speaking, you've seen some quotes from Long Island individuals and families. So let me explain where those quotes are coming from. Earlier this summer, CDCLI put out a call for families to share their experiences with Superstorm Sandy. And we asked them to focus on why home matters. And we received so many heartfelt stories, and we're grateful to everyone who took the time to share their experiences and tell us why home matters to them. So when this whole idea was shared with the committee for today's luncheon, once again, TD Bank stepped up and came forward with an award, a pool of $5,000 to be shared between two families who offered particularly compelling stories. So today we present those families with this award, and we're going to allow all of you to hear why home matters to them.
I'm shorter than Paul. So here today to present the awards to our Home Matters honorees is Suffolk County Executive Steve Bellone. Steve Bellone was active in the emergency response to Superstorm Sandy from before the storm hit our island, ensuring people were evacuated, to the immediate aftermath, rescuing people and transporting them to safety. He manned the Emergency Response Center, directing county resources and coordinated efforts with the state and federal first responders. Steve Bellone took an activist approach with LIPA when it became obvious that the delay to impacted South Shore residences were being delayed, and helping homeowners to be able to get their electric turned on. The county exec worked tirelessly to assist people in returning to their homes by using multiple strategies, including implementing the FEMA STEP program, staffing disaster recovery centers, which helped people apply for the FEMA assistance that they needed and other resources, and perhaps most important of all, lobbying the federal government to appropriate billions of dollars in community development, disaster release money for our region.
And Steve, as we know, continues to be actively involved in the rebuilding process. We are thrilled that he is able to join us today to celebrate the resiliency of the families whose lives were deeply impacted by the storm, families whose strength and spirit is evident in the stories that they have shared with us, families who love Long Island and who have expressed with eloquence why home matters to them. So please let me introduce Suffolk County Executive Steve Bellone.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. It is an honor to be here today to present to these families this award for why home matters. I want to first say a thank you to Mary Ann Garvin and a congratulations on becoming a grandparent. You know, I have 3 young kids, 5, 4, and 1. And if you see me run out right after this, I have a very important schedule today. I'm going to read to my daughter's kindergarten class right after this. So that is on the top of the schedule for today. But everybody tells me, who I talk to, that being a grandparent is even better than being a parent. So congratulations, you have a lot of great things to look forward to. I just want to say a thank you to everyone here who contributed so much after Sandy. All the nonprofits that are here. I see some of my colleagues who are here that we work closely with, like Mayor Paul Pontieri and Councilman Tim Mazie. Libby stepped up in a huge way. Of course, TD Bank, thank you. All of our construction trades, our contractors work together. You know, we all recall the devastation of Sandy, but I think as we continue to recover and work through, the one thing that will be lasting and will be remembered for its lasting impact is the way that people came together. Neighbors helping neighbors, contractors, nonprofits, government, all coming together to help overcome this terrible tragedy that occurred. And I just want to say, before I introduce our honorees, a thank you to CDC Long Island. We had the prospect of having to implement the STEP program, a brand new program that had never been done by FEMA anywhere in the country, that was being crafted on the fly in response to what happened here on Long Island. And the organization we called and asked to step in to help run that in Suffolk County was CDC Long Island. And the day we asked Mary Ann Garvin to step up to the plate and come in was the day before Thanksgiving. It was Wednesday night, and we'd opened things up, and it was CDC Long Island. We said, Mary Ann, we need you to come in right now. And she dropped everything and brought her team in and immediately began working on that program. And that's why we called on CDC Long Island. Their professionalism, their expertise, but their absolute dedication to this mission and their mission is beyond compare. And I want to thank you, Mary Ann, for your leadership and CDC Long Island. So our first award for Why Home Matters goes to Eva Robinson of Long Beach, who shared her story in written form. Eva is joined by her husband, Tim. Eva Robinson grew up in Long Beach at 18 Minnesota Avenue. In January of 1975, Eva and her husband, Tim, were fortunate to purchase their own home at 24 Minnesota Avenue, just a few doors down from her childhood home. Before Sandy, home was the place where the Robinsons enjoyed life and felt safe. On October 24th, 2012, their son, Tim Jr., surprised the family by returning from a Navy deployment in Japan to celebrate his father's birthday. While in the stages of planning a welcome home party for family and friends, Sandy struck. The Robinson family did not evacuate. They expected their high dunes to hold. Eva remembers the dunes holding through countless storms during her childhood. This time, they failed. Eva recalls in the days that followed, while it was impossible to describe the devastation with words, the sense of community was overpowering. Everyone reached out to help one another. Children delivered peanut butter and jelly sandwiches from their wagons. Even though the town and their homes were gone, the community was still there. Eva and Tim moved to a one-bedroom apartment in Long Beach, where they were forced to take a one-year lease. They were sure they would have to break that lease. How long could the rebuilding effort possibly be? Now the family is seeking a 2-month extension of that lease, while they continue to wait for the demolition of their former home. The permits only arrived in late September. The demolition of that home is happening today. And it's already down. Even just informed me. The family's new modular home will be delivered to the site in January. The Robinsons don't really refer to their apartment as home. Home was at 24 Minnesota Avenue, which they now refer to as 24. The Robinsons know that once 24 is taken down, well, it is taken down, they can move forward to a new 24 that will become their home. For the Robinson family, returning to the place they have always called home and their sense of community is why home matters. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the Robinson family, Eva and Tim.
Sorry.
It's yours. Our second award goes to Angela Glexner of Lindenhurst, who opted to share her story through a video, which was accompanied by a brief letter. We will share a brief clip with you now.
Another day has almost come and gone. Can't imagine what else could go wrong. Sometimes I'd like to hide away somewhere and lock the door. A single battle lost, but not the war. 'Cause tomorrow's another day, and I'm thirsty anyway, so bring on the rain.
On Sunday evening, October 28th, the order to evacuate the waterfront community of Lindenhurst was ordered. Angela Glexner and her youngest son, Christopher, left their home with only their 2 cats and a litter box. It would be 4 days before they would be able to get back to their rental home to see what was left. Their home was deemed uninhabitable. Each day, FEMA crews would allow residents 4 hours to enter their homes and remove whatever personal items they could salvage. This family spent their time each day trying to save what they could, working through the permeating smell of fuel oil. Nearly everything was damaged. With no available housing remaining in Lindenhurst, where they had lived for over 20 years, they relocated to West Babylon. Christopher was forced to start a new school, leave his friends, and start over with few personal belongings. Shortly after moving, the family had to make the painful choice of putting their terminally ill cat to sleep. To help ease the transitions with his brother and mom, Angela's oldest son, Joseph, moved in to help. Although Angela purchased waterfront insurance coverage, she quickly found out that her losses were not covered. When she questioned her agent, she was told that waterfront insurance doesn't cover water. She had never been advised of the need to purchase flood insurance. Since that time, she's replacing what she can. Furniture and necessities have taken precedence over video games and an iPod for Christopher. They rescued another cat, one that no one else wanted. They still need various appliances. The family lost everything. In her letter to CDC Long Island, Angela expressed the sense of closure she felt while making this video. She's moved past what her family lost and focuses on the fact that the things that truly are irreplaceable are still with her. Most of her family pictures were destroyed, but not her memories. Sandy took her house, but not her home. For the Glexners, family is what makes home matter. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to join with CDC Long Island in presenting this award to Angela Glexner and her son Christopher. Thank you, TD Bank. Christopher?
Hello. I'm Christopher Glexner, and my house was affected in Sandy. And in the video and in the letter that my mom has wrote, it says, we may have lost the house, but we have not lost our home. I would just like to say, home is where you make it. No matter where it is, as long as you have your family, home is where you make it.
Thank you very much. And finally, I just want to acknowledge the person who's leading our recovery efforts and who was with Mary Ann that night and who was in his office, Sam Chu, the Commissioner of Labor and Director of Operations for Suffolk County. Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, Steve. And certainly our families, it took a lot of guts for all of you, on top of everything you've been through, to share your stories with us and be here with us today. So thank you very much. And it's really been my privilege to be with you today, and this is my chance to say thank you. Thank you for being here. And just by being here, you may not realize this, but you have demonstrated your care for Long Island, your support for this wonderful organization, and all the important work that CDCLI continues to do. So for the final words of today, I'd like to introduce the chairman of the board of directors of CDCLI, Jim Coughlin. Jim?
Thank you, Paul. Can we have an extended round of applause for Paul for doing a fantastic job as our MC here today? Thank you very much, Paul. And thanks to all of you for coming out today and supporting CDCLI and the Home Matters movement. You know, my job was to wrap it up and get you out of here by 1:36, so I failed. But I'll do it quickly, but I am gonna assign you a task, and we're gonna go through it quickly, and it won't be hard, but to get it started, I'm gonna ask you to get your cell phones out, please. And while you're doing that, I just want to thank the committee for pulling this together. This has been the most successful gala we've had. So led by Ed Travaglianti, thank you to all the committee members, and thank you very much to the committee. I want to thank all of our sponsors. Obviously, without you sponsors, today doesn't happen. I want to say a special thank you to County Executive Steve Ballone for making sure that we fit us in before the kindergarten reading. It was very kind. And of course, to our honorees, TD Bank and the Libby. Congratulations, and thank you much for everything you do. We were all reminded today several times about how many of our neighbors were devastated in a way that none of us really thought possible that day after Sandy, and it really reminded us of something that we often take for granted, that home does matter. You've heard that a lot today. It's where we get restored. It's where we get empowered. So now we're going to ask you to become active participants in the Home Matters movement by getting your cell phones out, stretch your fingers, and go to www.homemattersamerica.com. Give you a second to get there. Okay, I want you to scroll down now to the Get Involved button. This is the work part, by the way. I want you to click on I Am a Person, assuming you are a person. And then from there, you can either tweet out your story of why home matters, or just share with your friends on Facebook that you support this important endeavor. If you're an organization, you can clip your logo into the Home Matters website. So that's all the work. You guys accomplished it. I appreciate it very much. We've all been reminded about how our communities are still struggling to recover. It makes us here at CDC particularly proud to be on the forefront of the Home Matters movement. And it also makes us particularly grateful for all of you being here supporting it. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for now being active participants in the Home Matter movement. And thanks for supporting CDC of Long Island. Have a great weekend.
this way.